Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the Prime Minister lashing out at former Cabinet Minister Loftus Roker in response to his controversial comments. The DNA leader says the Prime Minister's legacy will be clouded by the failed gambling referendum. Plus, an officer shot in Elizabeth Estates last night. It's Whit Monday. I'm Paige McCartney, and we've got those stories and lots more straight ahead on MB12. Welcome once again to MB12. 1 week after former Progressive Liberal Party Cabinet Minister Loftus Roker called for his resignation over last year's failed gambling referendum, Prime Minister Perry Christie is firing back. Christie says Roker knows exactly what he thinks of his comments, and the time will come when he will tell the former Gaming Board chairman just what he thinks. His comments come days after PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts said Roker is stuck in the past. Vonique Toot reports.
On Monday, June 2nd, Prime Minister Christie woke up to this National Review headline in the Nassau Guardian: PM should resign. Loftus Roker, a former PLP cabinet minister and former Gaming Board chairman, called the January 2013 gambling referendum a $1 million mistake, one Christie should resign over, insisting the Prime Minister just can't keep making mistakes and saying he's sorry. He added there has to be a price. Well, Christie didn't take those comments lightly.
Loftus Roker knows exactly what I think, and at the right time I will tell him in the same way he told me. He knows exactly what I think. No, Loftus Roker has always known what I think about him, about his views, about my views and his views, and how they reconcile and how they conflict.
When pressed on what he thinks of Roker, the Prime Minister said this:
He and I do not have any secrets with each other. I know how he thinks, he knows how I think, and he knows exactly what I'm thinking now with respect to what he said.
Before the no outcome of the gambling referendum, Christie pledged to abide by the results. However, in his budget communication in the House of Assembly, the Prime Minister formally announced the government will tax web shops effective July 1st. He also dismissed as silly recent criticisms of his government's 2014-2015 budget. Former Minister of Finance Sir William Allen said last week the kindest thing he could say about the budget is that it is disappointing, insisting the PLP government has spent more and added more to the nation's debt in each of its 2 years than at any other time in this nation's history.
Well, it's a silly criticism. When I sum up the debate, I will show them just how silly the whole thing is. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that we've done the best we can. And I will demonstrate that, people like Bill Allen and those are talking tongue-in-cheek. They know better than that.
Speaking with reporters on the sidelines of the recent Labor Day march, Christie said there are signs the economy is improving.
Bahamians are traveling more and more, taking advantage of holidays. Lots of Bahamians have gone into the Long Island Regatta, lots are traveling in the islands, and some of my ministers are going to leave here and go off to islands, and lots have gone into Florida. I had a friend trying to get a flight out of Nassau to Florida, and they couldn't get a seat on the aircraft. So Bahamians more and more are taking advantage of leisure time and traveling, and to me it's a good sign that the economy is working and improving.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Well, Democratic National Alliance leader Granville McCartney is weighing in on Loftus Roker's comments. He says he agrees with Roker's position that ignoring the results of the gambling referendum has deeper implications on the state of democracy in the country. McCartney says Prime Minister Perry Christie's legacy will be that he ignored the will of the electorate.
You voted against the web shops, but too bad. too bad. We're going to do it our way anyway. Now, Mr. Christie, if he does that and he goes against the will of the people, that will be his legacy. That would be his legacy, a total disruption in democracy.
But McCartney says he disagrees slightly with the former parliamentarian. He says he believes that the Prime Minister should not be the only one to resign, but the entire cabinet. And he says they should have done it a long time ago.
I think the Prime Minister and his government should have resigned when they lost the opinion poll or the referendum. You see, in a first world country, this administration would have been demanded of them to resign from there, not now, but from the minute they lost that referendum, because he did have a horse in the race, as we now see. He should have been asked to resign, and the Bahamian people should have spoken out. And I said, on behalf of the DNA, at that time, that Mr. Christie and his band of merry men ought to step down.
The Prime Minister announced during his budget communication that government will table the gaming bill once the budget is passed. McCartney says had government thought things through, it could have avoided the implementation of a new tax and introduced a lottery instead.
The lottery would have been another. You talk about introducing VAT. Well, I tell you, the lottery would have been something that would have been able to assist us greatly in bringing more income to the country. And that's something I find amazing, because it's not only the Bahamians who would play the lottery, you have millions of tourists who would come over here and play that as well.
In other news tonight, Baha Mar officials are preparing to proceed unimpeded with multi-million-dollar casino plans on the heels of Prime Minister Perry Christie's announcement that the gaming bill will be debated following the ongoing budget debate. Senior Vice President of External and Administrative Affairs Robert Sands says the developer is satisfied parliamentarians will get to the gaming bill next month and is already moving forward to take advantage of the bill, which will modernize casino gaming.
We're ready. We're ready.
And what's step one once that happens?
Well, we already are doing a number of the things temporarily to take advantage of the current modernization bill. But as we plan to open our casino in December 2014, the passage of this bill legitimizes many of the things that we can do in terms of ordering equipment, completing certain processes and training, etc., and will be able to give us the confidence to just proceed unimpeded in meeting our deadlines for December 2014.
The bill will also provide for the regularization and taxation of web shops, a move that contributed to government's delay in the debate of the controversial bill. President and Managing Director of Atlantis, George Marcantonis, suggested last month that government separate the two issues instead of bogging down the gaming bill with the controversial issue of web shop taxation. However, Sands says they're just happy the gaming issue is being addressed.
That is a decision the government will make. We are satisfied that the casino modernization bill will be addressed in July of this year.
In fact, Sands says gaming board officials recently toured Baha Mar's casino floor to get a first-hand look at the progress.
And to give them the confidence that we are proceeding as planned, and also to begin to make introductions to some of the leadership from the casino side and persons from the Bahama side who will be working intimately with the management and the operation of the casino in an effort to start building relationships going forward.
The proposed gaming bill is expected to introduce an entirely new segment to the resort's gaming offerings, allowing the Bahamas to tap into what is projected to be a $100 billion industry globally in 2015. In other news, police have taken a 19-year-old man into custody following a shooting incident that has left a police officer detained in hospital. Reports are that around 9 p.m. on Sunday, plainclothes officers were acting on intelligence when they were attempting to arrest a suspect in the Elizabeth Estates area who they suspected to be in possession of a firearm. The suspect fired several shots in the direction of the officers, resulting in one of the officers being hit on the right arm. The officer is listed in stable condition in hospital. And a harrowing scene on Frank Watson Boulevard yesterday as a man barely escaped a fiery car wreck. Preliminary reports are that the man was driving along the long road Sunday afternoon when he lost control of his vehicle and crashed into a lamp pole. The car was totaled, but it gets worse. Passers-by had to frantically rush to pull the driver from the wreck before it burst into flames, destroying the vehicle. The driver was in pretty bad shape, according to police, but it's believed he will pull through. Stay with us. When NB12 returns, calls for government to resolve industrial disputes before selling BEC. We'll tell you more about that and other stories when we come right back.